Welcome to ProjectME, the podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany Carter, the founder of ProjectME, multimillionaire entrepreneur, former TV newscaster, money-making expert, female empowerment speaker, and self-proclaimed office supply addict. My mission is to take the mystery out of making big money. Every week on ProjectME, the podcast, I'll share success tips, strategies, and stories from other entrepreneurs, experts, and millionaires, showing you exactly how you can achieve your most exceptional life. Now let's get to it. You all know I love sharing my secrets of how I went from $17,000 a year to a multimillionaire. My top essential tool for managing my two successful businesses, plus my crazy life, is my paper planner. But not any random planner, specifically my Inner Guide yearly planner. The Inner Guide planner doesn't just organize my schedule, it helps me map out and discover my goals, dreams, self-care, and keeps my millionaire mindset on track. I want you all to get planning right away for 2019. So I arranged to get a special Inner Guide discount exclusive to my ProjectME posse. Go pick out your favorite yearly planner at inner-guide.com. And at checkout, use the code ProjectME 15% off, and you will receive 15% off your entire order. If you are driving or multitasking and can't write this down, the Inner Guide link and code is in my Instagram bio at ProjectME with Tiffany. And remember, as I always say, you are either planning for success or heading to failure. Welcome to the Posse and podcast ProjectME with Tiffany Carter. Today's episode is Learn How I Make Hundreds of Thousands of Dollars a Year in Passive Income. So I've been really excited to do this episode for a couple of months now, and I wanted to make sure that I explained how I do this in a way that doesn't get too technical, too financial, where it makes sense and you guys actually get something out of it. Because I hear a lot of people throwing around passive income, residual income, and they never really get to the how in the hell do you specifically do it and build a thing and get it to that point. And it irritates me. So if it irritates me, I'm guessing it irritates you. So I'm hoping to clarify all of that with you today, plus also dispel any myths that are out there that may be shopped around as facts, but I want to make sure you guys know the truth, right? And that's what I'm great at doing. So I got to share this quote to start out, and it's from, one of the richest men in the world, Warren Buffett. A famous quote of his is, "If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die." It's pretty powerful, right? Especially when it's coming from someone who worked his way up from nothing to being a multi-billionaire, right? And it's true. If you are always chasing the paycheck or chasing that bonus at work, or you're always, looking for, okay, when I get a promotion, I'll get a pay increase, or, I jump to a different level and go to a different company, maybe I'll make $10,000 more a year. And you're always chasing that. What you're doing is you're trading your time and energy for money. And what Warren Buffett means by his quote is, if you're always trading your time and energy for money, you will be doing that till you die, right? Because you yourself as a person are required to be present and engaged in order to make that money. And guess what, guys? At a certain point in our lives, we get really over it. We might not like doing it anymore, and it doesn't make sense. And here's the thing that's really more important is we lose that feeling of being empowered. It turns into feeling like we're entrapped, right? I know I was in corporate America. And I was in a career, as I've shared before, in the pharmaceutical world, which is, considered a more lucrative, right, career path as long as you're a top salesperson. But still, there's a ceiling there too. Believe me, you know how they say in Vegas where it's like the house always wins? Well, when you work for another company and it's not your own, that company always wins. It's designed to, right? And the bigger the company, the bigger the corporation, the more they're going to win. That's why they're profitable, right? So they get a bunch of minions, which I was one, right, to work their asses off 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day, whatever it takes, and they get you to do that, then they make, their upside is 100 times whatever they're spending, on your salary and your bonuses and your benefits. So in order to have this feeling of empowerment and freedom, you can't have your cash flow just be tied to what you're doing actively for money, right? Your active income. Most people in the world only have active income. They have one stream, and it's their job, right? Whether it's a professional, career type job, or it's a jobby, as I call it, right? Where there really isn't a career path, more like being a waiter, being a barista, something like that, right? That to me is more of a jobby. It's not really a career path. You're not going to get any great wealth doing that. So here's the thing, you guys. People go, okay, that's great. I get it. We need to make income. We need to make income. We need to make money while we're sleeping. We need to make money while we're also at our normal jobs or working with clients if we're a coach. And we need to make money at all different times, and it can't always depend on us. That sounds great, Tiffany. I've read books. I've gone to Tony Robbins. I've read, Think Rich, Grow Rich, all that stuff. But it's like, okay, well, how do you do it? How did I do it? Right? So I'm going to get to the point. Here's how I did it, you guys. It's a little at a time. And the upfront effort of having multiple streams of passive income is crucial. So you need to start with a strategy. When I first started, I didn't have a strategy. It was just like I knew I needed to do it. I knew that was a way out. I probably read it in a book somewhere or watched it on TV or went to some seminar or something like that. But a lot of you probably have, who are based, in the US, probably have like a 401k or a retirement account. Technically, that's passive income, right? Because it doesn't require your active involvement in order to make money off it, but you really don't make much. I mean, it's kind of, it's borderline a joke. I'm not a financial advisor, so I want to state that clearly so my lawyer will be happy that I am not giving any financial advice or guidance. I'm simply telling you what I do and what works and what didn't work for me and what works and what doesn't work for the thousands of people that I have coached and led and taught over the years. So want to make that clear. Thank you for that statement. All right. So you need to start with a strategy, right? If you do things haphazard like I did in the beginning, you're going to waste a lot of upfront time and effort and brain power, and it's not going to go anywhere. And I see this a lot with those of you guys who do network marketing or affiliate marketing. I see it, in fact, all the time, where I get DMs, emails, messages. You guys hire me to coach you. I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. Other people in my network marketing company are crushing it. And how are they doing it? What am I doing wrong? Blah, blah, blah. Well, there's something that's always in common. One is there's no strategy. It's just like haphazard, trying this thing, trying that thing, getting advice from 10 different people who are making more than you, and then trying to implement all those things. And therefore, there's no consistency because you're just kind of haphazard going at things, trying to see what works and what sticks. Okay, well, it doesn't work like that. Here's why. You have to have a strategy. Yes, you want a strategy that's proven, meaning other people who have been really successful at it using that strategy, and it's worked. So you don't need to reinvent the wheel here. I'm someone who likes kind of shaking things up because it mentally stimulates me. So I always like seeing, is there another way, a better way, right? Now, in some circumstances, when I know that there's really a solid proven way, I'll typically go that route. But when it comes to things like network and affiliate marketing, and you're incorporating it with this online space that we're in and things are constantly changing, I do like to kind of tweak and refine and see what works. But really, the bare bones basics of it are still true, right? Though that strategy still holds true. So here's why it doesn't work when you keep trying all different things, and I'll change this and I'll change that. You're not giving it any time or consistency to see if it works. There's no proof of concept. You're not giving it enough time because you're not having patience. And where I think this comes from is two things. One, it comes from fear, like, oh my God, I'm doing this thing and I need more money, or I want out of my job, or I want out of my marriage, or my parents' house, or my grandma's basement, or wherever the hell you are. And I want this thing to work so bad. And you're running off of a fear system versus trusting, right? Having trust and faith in the universe that this is going to work for you and this is going to show up for you, right? So that fear makes us do crazy reactionary things that never end well. The second and maybe more practical reason why it doesn't work when you're trying to implement this and that, and you keep changing things all the time, is you have to have time and consistency to vet if something works. So in the advertising world, whether it is Facebook advertising or conventional TV, radio advertising, there's something that's called split testing, right? And what you do is you test different advertising messages and different images or different videos, and you test to see which one gets more engagement, which one converts more into sales, right? Well, even Facebook ads, for example, requires a minimum of 72 hours of doing the same damn thing over and over and over and over and over again with a certain amount of ad spend, right? A certain amount of money in order to be able to tell you which ad is doing better. So you need time and you need to have patience in order to see proof of concept. And I notice people are so quick, whether it is affiliate marketing or, which really quick is basically getting paid a commission, so to speak, off of promoting being an influencer over a certain product, like use my link to buy this, use my link and you get 15% off. And then you end up making, $5 per whatever, or 10% per order, or whatever it is. And then there's big affiliates where the item is a lot more expensive. Maybe it's TV, video equipment, or it's a water filtration system for $4,000, or it's someone's really big high-end course and you end up getting 50%. Whatever it is, the same thing holds true. You guys aren't being patient and consistent enough in order to vet if something works. And I get it. It's the shiny object syndrome, right? It's like, oh, I just saw this, this girl talk on this live, and I just did this free webinar and she told me to do this. And then I just went and listened to whatever network marketing group I'm in. I went to their convention and they told me to do this. And you're all over the place, right? You just need to slow your roll and create a strategy. And yes, listen to people who have done well before you, but I want you to then implement it to what works with your style and your best practices, right? So an area you might be really strong in, someone else might not be. You might be amazing and an extrovert and love going up to people and love going to networking events, right? Or you might be more like me, who hates that. Who hates that. And that's not gonna fly with you. So you have to make sure you're looking at someone's strategy who has a similar personality type and similar, talents, right? That they're able to do this strategy. Otherwise, you're kind of like forcing a giant boulder uphill and it won't work. So that's the main thing is I have a strategy, right? I look at the different forms of passive income. I investigate the different options, right? I get presented now with a lot of options, right? For, selling someone's course, for an affiliate, for this product, for that product. And I do my research. Where I'm at now is if I'm really interested, if it doesn't pass my first test, right? Where I'm looking at the quality of products, I am looking at, I'm also looking at, obviously, the comp plan. I am looking at, does this make sense with my brand? And is it something that I genuinely will enjoy? or genuinely use, or is this going to be forced? Because that also doesn't work. And I've done that before too, right? Because, there was such a great, commission off something, and it was something I liked, but I wasn't like, I didn't love it. I liked it. I tried to convince myself because the commission was so great, but I didn't really sell much because it just didn't come natural. And energetically, the universe can sense that, and so can other humans, right? They might not be able to know exactly what it is, but they can sense that. So I take a look at all those different opportunities, right? I look at white labeling, right? That's another great option for people, which is, you could create your own t-shirts, mugs, hats, bandanas. There's a whole bunch of different stuff, bracelets, sarongs. I could go on, where you're putting your logo or cute sayings that make sense for your brand, and you're not having to have this whole inventory, right? It's basically made on demand. When someone wants one, they slap on, your label and your wording, and it gets shipped to them, right? Then there's other things like Amazon drop shipping. I'm not going to go into all the different ways. If you guys really want to learn how to create passive income and what streams would be best for you that are customized to your passions and your business, then you can DM me on Instagram at ProjectME with Tiffany, or on Facebook, ProjectME with Tiffany, and ask me about the ProjectME Passive Income Posse. Just say, I want in the Passive Income Posse, and I will send you back the exclusive group application requirements. We keep this group small. This way, you guys get a customized approach to where we take a look at your Instagram. We redo your Instagram bio. We are looking at your business and brand and telling you, yes, this makes sense. No, this doesn't make sense. Where you're able to get personalized guidance in a group setting. In order to do that, we need to keep it small. Plus, I do a live training every week, which I don't know if I'm going to be doing that forever, because the value that I'm giving is so extreme compared to the price. I'm just going to have to go with my, gut and intuition on that. I just love helping you guys, and I can get carried away, but I have to also make sure I don't burn out either. So it's a lesson for you guys too. So if you want to get more into it and specifics, I've created an exclusive group to teach you all the things, whether you don't have a business now and you want an online business, or you have an existing business and you want passive income in it. This is the group. Okay. So going on, here's the thing. When it comes to affiliate marketing, when you see all those social media influencers, right, with a link or they're tagging, right? Okay, there's two ways those people get paid. One is they get paid on impressions, right? They get paid to post and, tag of drinking the coffee, of wearing the shirt, right? But they don't get any money for sales, right? They're not getting commission based on sales. It's more about impressions, and this person is an influencer and we want people to see they like the product. Usually that's reserved for people who are in super niche markets or celebrities or people with mass followings. All right. For example, I have an influencer agreement with Inner Guide Planners. I do not make any money when I give you guys that link and that code to go buy Inner Guide Planners. I am a true, genuine Inner Guide Planner junkie, and they recognize that, they see that, they valued that, and I'm paid to showcase and teach how I use their planners and their products in order to have more success, order, and peace in your life. Okay? So I'm not getting paid on a per product basis with them, right? So then the other way influencers get paid is by getting paid on the back end. So they're only paid for what they sell. So that's similar to the Amazon account I've been telling you guys about. In order to have an Amazon account, you send a link and then people buy stuff off your Amazon account, right? Because you're sending them, you get a commission for it. Very similar, right? So whatever it is you're selling, use my code or use my discount code. And Tiffany sold, 2 widgets today. And let's say those each widget was, Each widget was $50. And so for everything I sell, they're giving me $5, right? So you're not going to make a shit ton of money that way unless you're like a Kardashian, right? But listen, I don't mind. I'll take $5, right? But it has to make sense because you don't want to saturate your feed, your blog, your videos with a whole bunch of different offers like that, because then again, right, it goes back to my strategy. Now you're shiny object syndrome and you're all over the place. So it just seems like you're a promotion whore, to be blunt. And then no one really buys anything and you kind of lose your value because it's like basically anything you send her, she'll sell. It does not end well. I get how it can be tempting for people, but it's not sustainable. And what we want is sustainable passive income that you guys can actually rely on. So my suggestion is always to maybe at max have 3 things at max that you are working on. Only one network marketing company, and you can do an affiliate company and maybe like a lower end, like a product that you always use. Maybe it's a supplement or a skincare or something like that. And then the third thing I need you to do is a higher ticket item. So it either needs to be, right, your white labeling where you're selling your own merch. You're doing something like that. You're doing paid printables. You have your own course, your own book, something like that. That would be the third thing. I don't recommend having more than 3 things. It gets lost. It's hard to keep track of. And it generally doesn't work unless you have an entire, team going for you, right? You have to remember these people who have hundreds and hundreds of thousands and millions of followers, they have teams organizing all the stuff nonstop, right? And most of you listening probably don't have that. So I just want to point that out. All right. So you need to have patience in this game, right? I like referring to this online space, making money as a game. Sounds a lot more fun than saying the word work, right? It really is just a game. And I don't mean a game like someone's playing games. It really is just almost like a strategic chess game or something like that. But there's some commonalities here. You guys have to have patience. There is something that's happening in the online space where people think, I'm going to set up an Amazon affiliate store. I'm going to do drop shipping. And all of a sudden in a month, I'm going to be making $15,000 a month. I'm not to say that there can't be situations where that can happen. Highly unlikely and rare. What you see a lot out there, including myself, is this is years of work to be able to rely and depend on hundreds of thousands of passive income dollars a year for myself. This is years of work, you guys, and strategy. You have to be in it for the long game. And I think you guys are. I mean, you have to be willing to put that work up front. Are you willing to put in upfront effort, really solid, focused effort, even for a year, right? In order to reap benefits for a lifetime. I would hope you are, and a lot of people think they are, but then when they're like month 3 in and they've made $300, they're over it. And it's like, I don't know where you got that it was that easy, right? It's easy in the sense of it's actually simple, the formula on how to do it. What's not easy is the mindset and the patience and the time and the consistency. So anybody who does well in this space is consistent. You're sharing about those products consistently. You're posting consistently. You're creating cool content consistently. You're doing videos consistently, right? You have a plan and you keep executing it consistently. That is how this works well, right? That's how you build a social media following of your ideal client base. This is how all of this happens. It's consistency. Do you think that my podcast would be that popular if I just threw out an episode when I felt like it, like once a month? I got like a spark up my ass and I did it? No, it wouldn't. And I knew that before I started because I come into things very realistically. One, obviously I've owned a business for 11 years, so I know the deal. But also that's my personality, right? I'm a realist. Yes, you guys know I practice manifestation, but I do practical manifestation. I also know what is required and what works, and I do trust that the money will come, but that effort needs to be upfront and it needs to be consistent. So you have to ask yourself this question, right? Are you willing to put in a year of solid, consistent work, even on days you don't feel like it, even when you're making $300 a month and you're like, this sucks, or you're stuck at $1,000 a month, or you're stuck at $3,000, $10,000 a month, whatever it is. It's all relative to, what you spend and what lifestyle you're accustomed to. Are you willing to put in a year of solid effort to reap lifetime benefits? You have to really answer yourself. And I'm talking on the bad days. I'm talking on Sundays. I'm talking at 9 p.m. I'm not saying to work or grind your ass to the ground. I don't recommend that. But what I am saying is true devotion and consistency. So if you have a full-time job, dedicating yourself to waking up an hour early in the morning, putting in time there. Then when you're done with work or you're done exercising, whatever, putting in 3 hours every night, and talking to your family and telling them your plan. And this is what it's going to take, and get people on board, right? And have that support for your consistency, or join a group like the ProjectME Passive Income Posse, where you have accountability and you have that support and encouragement, and you have someone, actually of 3 people who cumulatively we make $1 million a year in passive income, telling you, yes, this is normal. This isn't unusual. This can happen. Just keep going. It's a numbers game. I recently posted something in my Instagram stories from Mark Cuban. You guys probably know him from Shark Tank. I think he's the wealthiest person on that Shark Tank. And he said, it's a numbers game. It's a numbers game. You talk to the person who talks to 100 people a week. And I don't mean talk in person. Okay. I mean, engages with 100 people a week of your ideal customer, whether you're DMing them, engaging with them in comments, whatever it is, or networking events or whatever it is. Okay. The person who talks to 100 people a day versus the person who talks to 10, who do you think is going to end up being more successful? It's really, that's what he means by numbers, right? And there's an episode coming up in a couple weeks with one of my longest friends, and she started from square one. In fact, she started selling Yellow Page ads, which was crazy because it was, Yellow Page, the actual Yellow Pages were already all online. So they were online Yellow Page listings. That's where she started before she got into real estate. And she made 100 cold calls a day, 6 days a week, because I don't think you're allowed to call people on Sundays. And she isn't full of shit. I would go visit her and there was a wall of fucking Post-it notes. And she really did it. And she just did it. And guess what happens then, right? Let's just say the numbers are shit, right? And it's one yes out of all those 100 calls every day. You know what happens? She ends up with 6 yeses a week. Then it's 24 yeses a month. And then you start doing the math, which I don't want to right now because it's too much work for my brain. But it starts adding up. Do you guys see what I'm saying? That's what I mean by putting in this upfront effort, right? There's so many different ways that you can reach out and attract people. And right now, online is such an amazing way to create awesome content, unique content to your personality, to your niche, while helping people, right? But you can't just spew out a podcast and a TV show like I am, and then never engage with anybody. I mean, what the hell? That's not going to do shit. You need to talk to people in the DMs. You need to encourage people to reach out to you, and why. You need to give them a reason. Are you helping them? It can't be first and foremost, I want you to use, I really want this person to use my link, It's gross. You've got to change your mindset. You just have to know it's a numbers game. The more people you engage with, the more people you talk to, the more people you help, right? At the very worst, right? Very conservative crap numbers, which I love to work with, right? I love always presenting a worst case scenario, even for someone who's a shit salesperson. 1 out of 100 people, and we've already done the math, right? And then it compounds off itself, right? And then there's something that happens when you start getting those yeses. What happened with, my friend Melissa, you'll hear her episode, right? She then knew what worked, just like I was telling with the Facebook ads with the split testing. She knew, I call 100 people a day, even on my worst day or on a universal bad day, I'm at least going to get 1 sale. And so she knew that. So if you knew that, would you be willing to hear the 99 no's or the 99 blow-offs or, any version of I don't have the money or I don't know, now is not the right time or whatever? Would you be willing to do that? I can tell you, I am. And because I am, now you see what my benefits are. So it might not be the answer you want to hear. It is, I know we want to believe, it's so, I have X many thousand followers and I'm kind of cute. And so I'm going to post a picture of me in my workout gear and then tag those companies. And then I have a link where you can get my shake or whatever the hell it is. And I'm just going to make money that way. Guess what? Even the influencers don't make money just that way, just so you know. Because I coach some of them. They don't make enough that way. They make a respectable amount, right? But unless you're a celebrity, unless you're unless you're someone where you can command $100,000 a post, $50,000 a post, something like that, and you're getting hired to do multiple posts, you're not going to make money that way. I'll give an example, okay? And she's not my client, but I just want to give this example because I think a lot of you guys know who she is. Jenna Kutcher, she's the Gold Digger podcast, okay? She has some sponsorship deals, right? She's done some stuff with Nordstrom's, for Aerie, right? But if you haven't noticed, she also is consistently building her email list and selling her courses. It's not enough income for her to sustain her company and the lifestyle that she wants just by influencer agreements and by you buying on, her shop page. It's not. For a fact, it is not. So I just want to put that in perspective for you that it's not. You also don't need hundreds and thousands or millions of followers in order to make passive income. I get asked this a lot. Well, Tiffany, I don't even have an Instagram account, or I'm just starting and I have 10 people. That's okay. Guess what? I started with 2 people. I'm not someone who has a shit ton of friends. I'm a quality over quantity person. Plus I'm an introvert. So it's not like I'm Miss Chatty Sally, right? And I'm the neighborhood go-to person and I instantly have hundreds of people that are on a Facebook page or on Instagram or something like that. I'm not that person. So you don't have to be that person. What you have to be is have a niche. You have to have a strategy. You have to be unique, meaning uniquely you. You are born unique. You're already unique, but you have to I don't like using the word, but I'm going to anyway. You have to exploit your uniqueness, right? So what is unique about me? And this also comes with self-awareness, but my private coaching clients or even the 90-minute strategy sessions, I review this with people, right? Because we often don't see what's unique about ourselves that will really make a big impact or is engaging. You have to be really self-aware. And if not, you have to have someone help you get there. So what is unique about me is my communication style. I cut to the chase. I have a really good ability. At least I think I do. You guys can tell me otherwise. I have a unique ability of explaining complex things and making them simple. This in part came from being trained as a professional TV journalist in one, right? And the other, it's a lot of practice. And the third thing probably is just something that's innate, right? It's just something I was naturally born with as being a good communicator, and it was refined over years of training. We all have our thing. So that's one of my things. The other is I'm not afraid to use swearing. I'm not afraid to use a lot of humor, even if it's kind of racy humor or outlandish humor. I embrace that, and you guys seem to like that. By the way, you guys, will you take a screenshot of this episode really quick? Post it in your stories, tag me, so I know if this episode is helpful and informative to you. And of course, you can DM me and ask me any follow-up questions if you're like, girl, you lost me at this, or I have this business. What do you see as being good passive income, or whatever? Just DM me. That's the thing, is take action, you guys, right? You don't have to figure all the things out and know all the things. That's why there's other humans, and you ask them. You ask them, what do you think? Does this make sense? I don't want you asking some broke ass. I don't want you asking your Uncle Joe who did like Amway in 1973. Right? I would want you to ask people who are the elite in their field on what they do. Don't even ask someone who's marginal. You need to ask the elite. That's why my two business partners that I partnered with for the ProjectME Passive Income Posse, they're at elite level, right? Why would I partner with people who are just a little above average or they're great? No, I want exceptional, because you want to replicate, right? And take information and guidance from people who are doing it exceptionally well, not marginally well, kind of well. Don't do it, right? Because clearly they're missing something, or maybe they're just starting. Not to say some of what they have to teach you isn't valid, but I'm just giving you that heads up, because when you start talking about passive income, adding different revenue streams in your business, or you're just starting a business, you're going to have every single person who hears that you're starting an online business, or you're really focusing on adding more passive income streams to your business, or you make money online, you're going to get a lot of crazy opinions, and just take what you like and leave the rest. So I want to leave you guys with a thought. I just want you guys to think about something. What is it that makes you lose consistency? Because this is something I see with everybody who is in debt, is broke, or is not making what they could be making. It's absolutely so common. So what is it that makes you lose consistency? Is it that you get very easily discouraged and you want instant gratification of, making money or likes or comments or followers? And when you don't get it, maybe you can hang in there for a month, but after that you get discouraged and you just give up. What is it that makes you stop consistency? And don't point fingers like, well, Tiffany, I have 3 kids and a husband and a sick aunt. I don't want you to point fingers. I'm just asking you to think about what it is within yourself. And you know what? It's okay. Whatever your answer is, maybe it's that you have a health issue and you only have a certain amount of hours a day where you have energy. Okay. That used to be me. And if I'm not careful, that could go back to being me with having a chronic condition, right? So just ask yourself, what is it that makes you lose that consistency? Most of the time, I will say it comes down to this instant gratification, and you're not getting the results that you somehow expected, which I don't know where you got the expectation from. And because you're not getting those results, you're like, well, fuck it. This isn't working for me. Maybe I'm not meant for this. Oh God, maybe I'm not as cute as I thought I was, or I'm not as influential as I thought I was, right? So you got to think of these like big brands, right? Like, let's think of like a popular blog that, is, and she's considered an influencer, like the Skinny Confidential. She started at nothing too. She started at zero, but she put in time and consistency, great content coupled with strategy, right? So you go back and probably look at her books. I'd be fascinated in the beginning, or you look at people who are more transparent about it, right? There's a lot of people who show where their books were at, where their revenue was at in the beginning. And guess what? Your revenue could be something like $10,000 for 2019, but then in 2020, it's 250 grand or it's 500 grand. Do you really care that you made only 10 grand in 2019 if you end up with 250 grand as an example in 2020 and continue on growing year after year after that? It's a different way of thinking, but this is an entrepreneurial way of thinking. This is not having a job, being an employee way of thinking, where it's an employee way of thinking is, I'm guaranteed this if I do this, and I'm guaranteed these benefits if I do this. So I just have to show up and I'm guaranteed this. That's an employee way of thinking. If that really is how you think and you are not comfortable at all or willing to embrace entrepreneurial thinking, it's not going to go well for you. Just straight up, it's not going to go well for you. It won't. It will not end well. You need to at least embrace it. It might be kind of scary because it's new. Believe me, I was scared shitless when I went from employee to entrepreneur, and I did my straddling method that I teach, and I was matching and exceeding my income, and I still was scared shitless because I was so conditioned with that employee mentality, right? Because that is what society teaches us. And then when you're in corporate America long enough, it just keeps getting reinforced. So it took me some time before I really, really got it. So you just need to be open and willing, right, to think differently, to think like an entrepreneur, which requires a lot more patience and strategy, time, consistency, and persistence. Well, I hope you guys loved this episode. Please, again, take a screenshot, tag me at ProjectME with Tiffany if you loved it. DM me with any follow-up questions. And as always, I'm wishing you guys great health, wealth, and worth. Talk to you soon. If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.